On today's show, we celebrate a new tradition.
Yes, good morning.
The Minnesota Governor's Pheasant Opener. It just happened in Marshall, Minnesota, but we happened to tag along on the very first one last year in the fields of Montevideo.
All right, Jake, my friend.
And I hit the waters with my favorite fishing partner, grandson Jake. Find out who can catch the big ones, Grandpa or grandson.
11 and sunny.
And it's time to see what's wild in the kitchen with Lisa Erickson. She's cooking up a fall favorite, Campfire Hobos.
Come on, guys.
And later, a Minnesota-bound classic that's a history lesson, a history of the ringneck pheasant. Class in session. Those stories and more next.
Minnesota's select GMC dealers present Minnesota Bound. From the North Country, here's Ron Shera and Raven, the Black Lab.
Hi, everybody. Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, if you're a pheasant hunter, you know there's a new tradition in Minnesota, the Governor's Pheasant Opener. This year it was held in Marshall, but the premier event was held in Montevideo, and we were there.
Sure looks and sounds like a party.
We've been planning this since May.
True firsts are rare these days.
Yeah.
But over in Montevideo, Minnesota, the very first Governor's Pheasant Hunt kicks off on a crisp Saturday morning. A weekend where Minnesota celebrates the ringneck pheasant and all the fun stuff that goes along with the hunt. This hunt is a big deal.
Please, everybody with an H, come up here in the...
Heck, just look around. The big guest,
Yes, good morning.
this guy,
We'll get some birds.
Governor Mark Date.
Well, having the governor come out here and having this VIP hunt out here in our area is something special.
Good. I'm good. I like your hat there.
It's the first annual, and nobody's ever done anything like this
We're
before.
very proud of our pheasant hunting here in Minnesota. I've been doing it for 55 years.
This is great. This is going to bring business out to our community.
A party the governor can appreciate.
Well, I've been pheasant hunting for 56 years.
After all,
in southwestern Minnesota.
It sounds like he's a lifer in the game of
So
pheasants.
it's great to be here in Montevideo today for the first annual Governor's Pheasant Hunting Opener. As long as I'm governor, it won't be the last. We'll have one every year somewhere in Minnesota because this is a great rite of the fall in Minnesota, and it's a perfect day, sun shining, nice crisp air, and I hope we get some birds.
Hope is the right word.
How old is he?
Minnesota's bird forecast didn't look very good for the first Governor's Opener.
Where is he, Mick? Where is he?
Blame foul weather and a lack of habitat.
Good girl. Good girl. Okay, hunt him up.
Just one problem when you're a big deal like the governor. Stealth isn't exactly on your side.
Sit.
Keep in mind,
Follow the slope.
with the bird counts down, seeing pheasants fly is a victory.
Who's the rooster?
We'll leave the official count at 5 hens and 2 roosters.
Young rooster there. Very low.
So now all I can hope is the governor didn't get that bird that was shot down here. Or I'm going to have to put on some more miles.
No, actually, my lab Garski, where I ran over him and went right through the trees. So nice shot. The first shot was a little quick, but the second shot I got him for sure. So only problem is I'm going to be in trouble for the tail feather contest because I think I may have got him a little back end. So, but no, it was a great long walk and beautiful day. Not too hot, not too cold.
Just perfect to celebrate fall in the great state of Minnesota.
Well, it's a great deal for the area. You know, a lot of people drive by Montevideo and they keep heading west. So it's nice if we can draw a little attention here and they stop here.
There we go. Now you got him. Whoa.
Up next, grandson Jake Gantz gives his grandpa a run for catching the big one.
You got the biggest.
Yep, I surely did.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers. Renewal by Anderson, makers of quality replacement windows and doors. Seven Clans Casino. And by Ice Force, proven hard water gear.
Up next, a fishing adventure with one of my favorite partners, grandson Jake Gantz, who is 8.5. You have to include the half, you know. Well, we had a great day on the water, and of course, Jake caught most of the fish.
All right, Jake, my friend. What are we going to catch today?
Some crappie?
Crappie. I'm going to get a bigger one than you then.
Oh, sure. What about the one on the dock I was practicing for?
His name is Jake Gumps.
Here we go, Jake.
Age,
Okay.
almost 9, going on
Where
teenager.
do you want to head to, buddy?
Jake is also my grandson.
What are you going to start with, Jake?
Probably the beetle spin.
That's a good lure.
More importantly, my favorite fishing partner.
We got a perfect day for it.
Oh, yeah. Perfect day. This looks like a perfect spot, doesn't it?
You think so?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Nothing really.
The first cast produced not much catching. Pressure's on, Grandpa.
You're getting more bites off the dock.
Yeah, I know. Should we just fish off there?
Now, patience and fish don't always come easy.
What bait are you using there, Jake?
Jiggly worm. Need to catch bass and not really working right now. We'll try a different spot.
Well, we will. We just got here, Jake.
I know, but nothing's biting.
We'll keep moving and we'll find them.
But find 'em we did. No pressure now, Grandpa.
Attaboy. These are pumpkin seeds.
All right, I got one for
You
you.
lost your bait, Jake. Got a weed and a fish. Take your time. Attaboy, Jake. What is that?
Crappie.
There he goes, Jake. Grandpa got one. Another big old crappie. Look at that, Jake.
It's a nice size.
Look what Grandpa got. Is it bigger than yours?
No.
Huh?
No,
Are
I've
you
got
sure? Good guess. Get down the lily pads again.
Oh, I got one.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's it. What do you got?
Crappie.
Good job. All by yourself.
Yep, bigger though than yours.
What?
Yeah.
You're probably right. You got the biggest one.
Grandpa already knew who was going to win this fishing contest.
There you go. There you go. There we go. Now you got him. Whoa. Whoa. What is it? Jake, I think you won the prize of the day.
Tell me what you got here.
A nice 11-inch sunny. Deflated like crazy.
Fishing's a learning game, isn't it, Jake?
Yeah.
Huh? You're getting better, though.
Yeah.
All right, Jake. You got the biggest.
Yep. I surely did.
It was close, though.
Yeah, very close, but still me.
Grandpa loves to fish with you, buddy.
I love to fish with you too.
You know, folks, we're always giving you tips on how to use items from a first aid kit, but we've never really talked about what should be in a first aid kit. So I've dug mine out, and I'm going to ask Arlie to go through it and see if I've got everything I need and maybe suggestions on how to use it.
You don't need to have a lot of things in your first aid kit. What you're trying to do is just take care of minor injuries in the field or stabilize a dog so you can get him to a veterinarian. So let's start with the key items here. We like to have stuff for wound management, some disinfectant, some bandaging material, a little bit of gauze and stuff to put over the gauze to keep the wound clean. If it's a big wound and you're going to have some time before you can get to the veterinarian, sometimes I like to have a stapler just to hold that wound together. For problems with the eyes, I like to have a nice sterile eye wash, and then I like to have a tube of triple antibiotic eye ointment. This stuff is great if you're in areas where there's a lot of pollen or a lot of seeds and you may be getting things in the dog's eye. It takes a lot of the pain out of that and makes it much more comfortable for the dog. I like to have something for insect bites, particularly bee stings, and usually I use for that Benadryl or diphenhydramine. You can get that in either capsules or liquid. I like to have some moleskin and super glue in case we have to patch problems on the foot. I like to have a pair of scissors for taking care of the bandages, and I really like to have a pair of hemostats. These are great for pulling porcupine quills out of a dog. I will never leave home, even on a training run, without a thermometer. Probably the most important item in your first aid kit, and this will help you determine whether or not your dog is too warm, and if the dog is in trouble, how much trouble the dog is in. The other thing I really like to have in the kit is a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. This stuff is great for treating wounds, and also if you need to induce vomiting, 2 tablespoons of this will usually make a dog vomit within 10 minutes. If it doesn't work, just repeat and it'll work 10 minutes later.
So this is really all you need in a first aid kit. Anything beyond these first preventive things, you need to get to a veterinarian. So for more tips on this and other topics, go to our website.
I'm Lisa Erickson, and today I'm
And what's wild in the kitchen this week? How about a fall recipe that's perfect? Campfire Hobo.
And our special vegetable we chose.
Closed captioning for Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Joe's Sporting Goods.
Time now to head to Lisa Erickson's kitchen where, as usual, something wild is a-cooking.
Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Lisa Erickson, and today I'm going to teach you how to make campfire hobos in the oven. We're going to do 2 pieces of tin foil, and I've alternated them, and I like to use the heavyweight tin foil. We've got some hamburger, some great green giant red potatoes, and some Klondike gold potatoes, and some onions and carrots. Each time I make the campfire hobos, I like to mix it up with a new or interesting vegetable. Today I chose peas. Let's get started. We're going to take a patty and put it on the bottom of the tin foil. And I've got a little bit of seasoned salt, or you can just use salt and pepper. And I'm just going to sprinkle that right on top. And I'm going to take some onion, break it up right over the top. And now I'm going to bring my tin foil up a little bit, contain it, because I want to stack everything one on top of each other. Next, we'll put the potatoes on top. And don't forget to add a little more seasoning as you go along. And now we're going to put some carrots on there, and our special vegetable we chose. And my secret ingredient, which makes a nice gravy on top, is cream of mushroom soup. Just going to take and scoop it right on top. Then we're going to take and fold it up. But the secret is to remember, especially if you're grilling on the campfire or on the grill outside, is to make a handle so you can move it around and turn it. All right, they've been baking in the oven for an hour and a half at 350. Let's check them to see if they're done. Did you notice that I didn't use any dishes in preparing this meal? And now I'm just going to use a little paper plate support, and look, it's perfectly done. And the tin foil acts as a plate. And that is campfire hobos done in the oven. And that's my wild chow.
Every autumn, more than 475,000 Minnesotans head to the woods to go deer hunting and celebrate a long tradition. But to Dr. Richard Kyle, Chief of Orthopedics at Hennepin County Medical Center, deer season also means something else.
What comes to my mind are the patients that we see in the emergency room during that period of time. And we know when that season starts, we have a season where people are going to be falling out of deer stands and occasionally either shooting themselves or getting shot.
Deer hunters in tree stands can be an accident waiting to happen.
The falls have a very common occurrence. The single biggest factor was the fact that they didn't use safety straps, either going up to the deer stand or particularly while they were in the deer stand. 80% of people that fall out of a deer stand suffer a severe fracture, and a percentage of those are spinal cord injuries and head injuries.
Dr. Kyle says if you or another deer hunter are injured, don't try to be a doctor.
I think you should have a cell phone, and you need to call 911. You need to make the other hunter comfortable, keep them warm. People really have to understand that handling a firearm is the same as handling any piece of equipment or any sporting activity. You have to be trained, you have to understand the rules, and you have to obey those rules. And most hunters do that. It's a very safe sport when you look at that and you follow the rules and regulations that you've learned. It's the inexperienced people that cause most of the problems.
So stay safe out there, deer hunters. A broken femur is no trophy to bring home from deer camp. Coming up, our classic is a history lesson. A lesson on one of my favorite birds, the ringneck pheasant.
In the history, I don't think we have any idea of how many failed attempts there were to stock pheasants in this country. Thousands, tens of thousands. The average attempt was a failure.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Ellsworth Cooperative Creamery, Hennepin County Medical Center. Summer is short. Play it safe. And by Connecticut. Better water flows from better thinking.
Up next, you know, the beautiful ringneck pheasant has been around America for so long, we tend to think it was always here. But that's not the case as we look back at the colorful history of the ringneck pheasant.
Hunters pay homage to the most colorful and cunning of game birds. Thing is, the curiosity of this bird has not changed in centuries. The story of the American pheasant starts way back in the early 1800s. Settlers loaded pheasants onto ships and headed towards the New World.
In the history, I don't think we have any idea of how many failed attempts there were to stock pheasants in this country. Thousands, tens of thousands. You know, the average attempt was a failure.
Failure because life at sea was tough enough for humans, much less pheasants cramped into cages. Those birds that did survive the ocean journey had a hard time once here. It's a biological thing.
Pheasants don't live very long, and they just flat out don't.
But later in the 1800s, the American pheasant movement got a boost from this guy, American consul judge to Shanghai, Owen Denny.
I think he went to Shanghai in around 1880 and saw all their wonderful game birds, including ringneck pheasants, and thought, I wonder how those would do in Oregon.
Wife Gertrude urged Denny to bring birds home to Oregon. He tried once and failed, but a year later, he released a few birds here at Peterson's Butte in Linn County, Oregon.
I think all accounts agree there was about 10 roosters and 15 to 17 hens.
The birds stuck, and over the next few years, ringnecks reproduced in great numbers.
In fact, early on, they were called the Denny pheasant. The first pheasant season was in 1891, just about 9 years after the introduction.
Come on, guys. Come on. We have a pretty good idea that this area here is where the hunt took place. Come on, hunt him up, Neela. Go. We'll go get him.
Members from Oregon's Owen Denny chapter of Pheasants Forever showed us that property where the first hunt happened. It's just a 20-minute drive from the very spot where Denny introduced the first birds.
It's a novelty to say we're the Owen Denny chapter, and we were actually the first chapter formed in Oregon.
Another hen.
So, Oregon has bragging rights on America's first pheasant population. Question is, how did the birds spread to the rest of the country?
Everybody wants what they don't have, and pheasants kind of fit that bill. Nobody had them, and they were seeing some success stories, and it was like, cool, let's do this here.
Take Iowa.
Their very first hunting license was responsible for providing a lot of cash that they could use to infuse these birds, get the eggs, get the birds, get the program going.
As ringnecks spread to other states, get this, traveling shows followed.
The state fairs, they'd have big pens of birds, you know, to show people and identify, you know, that, hey, you might be seeing these in your roadsides now. You know, might be hearing them in the morning. So it was kind of a cultural education deal at the same time.
By the mid-1900s, the U.S. had established a healthy population of pheasants. Today, as we promote habitat, we protect that population. The hope that we will always have pheasants. Pheasants forever.
A common thread that binds everybody together is that everybody wants more of them. It's just a nice bird to see, nice bird to hear in the mornings. It's kind of a symbol that wildlife is out there.
You know, what can you say? It's still one of the most beautiful birds in the world. And that about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Shera, and of course the star of the show and a pheasant hunter is Raven, right? Please don't kiss me.
Guests appearing on Minnesota Bound receive gift certificates to Crave Restaurants. Fresh, vibrant, America. Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.